Hi, this is Kevin with Normandy Boston Terriers. I just setting this up for all of our clients so it's easier for them to follow in case they forget things that I've mentioned to help them out with their new puppy. Anyhow, when you first pick up your puppy, I'll give you what I call a puppy kit. And in the puppy kit, it's all kinds of literature, forms, health records, toys, food, and other things. I'll go through them one at a time so you can follow along with your kit. The first thing you're probably going to want to check out is this folder. In this folder is all the documents that pertain to your puppy and healthcare, vaccinations, AKC records, and so forth. But I'll go through them now so you can see them and what they look like. The first thing I'm going to go over is their health certificate. This is what one looks like, and it's a certificate that the veterinarian signs, and it's for the state of Florida, and it's certified. And basically it will state that your puppy is in good health, and all the vaccinations that they received so far. It's also signed by the vet, and if there are any health issues that he discovers during his examination, they'll be listed on here as well. But I haven't had a puppy yet have an issue or a health concern. So that's what that looks like, and that's important when you go to your first vet visit that you bring that. They can keep it on file, and they can also see what vaccinations he's had, and like I said, if there are any health issues. The next important document that I have is their microchip information. I don't know if this is mirrored or not, but it's called nanochip. It's about the smallest chip you can get to insert into your puppy. And it's the microchip that will lead any person or rescue to you. It will link them to you. So each chip has an individual code, and once a puppy is scanned, that code will show up, and they put it into a universal registry, and it will show all of your information so they know who to contact, where you're located, and how to get in touch with you so you could pick up your dog at that time. The registry that I use is this registry, Found Animals Registry. It's also a universal registry, and it's free, so you don't have to worry about paying or updating yearly or anything like that. It gives you the website, and you'll enroll at no cost. They never once will ask you for any payment, and it will bring up a pet, a blank pet, and you fill in all the description information, including the color of the dog, the age of the dog. You can even put a photo of your dog and your information, your contact information, and you can also put your vet's information on there too, just in case somebody can't get a hold of you. They can get a hold of your vet, or if you moved and you didn't go back in and change your address and location information, they can get a hold of you that way. Each kit will also contain this, and this is the sticker, the label for the microchip ID. So the number is on there. It's a real small number on the bottom. So when you go to register it, they're going to ask you for that number. So that's going to be a unique number only to your dog. The next thing we'll go over is dog food. I use different puppy foods. I try to use the better brands. And you can research that by typing in your computer, Googling the better dog foods, because there's all kinds of commercial dog foods. Some are really not good for your dog, and some are very good for your dog and will keep your dog healthy. It's food plays a big part in health of your puppy, so it's good to pick out a really good premium type of puppy food and then move them on to a premium dog food after 1 year. This is one that I've used. It's called American Journey. It's pretty healthy. It's rated really well. My dogs really liked it. It comes in small bites, so if you want to choose that, you can choose any kind of dog food that you like or that you think is good for your dog. It will give you all the directions, how much to feed the dog or the puppy by their weight. So it will give you all that information, and also all the ingredients in the dog food. The main thing to look for in a dog food is the number one ingredient, the one that they list first. And that should be a meat product, whether it's chicken, lamb, beef, whatever. So that's the number one thing to look for. So when you're picking puppy food, I will give you, along with in the puppy pack, about 3-day supply of the puppy food that they're on. Now, you're more than no problem if you happen to change the food. If you want to change it to a different brand, then you have this to mix in with it. So over a few days, they can get used to the change, and then you can strictly feed them the food that you choose to. Like I said, it's up to you. Some people want different food than I would use. Not that mine's any better or any worse, but I do use a premium brand. So that will also come in your kit. The next thing I want to go over is really important. When you first get your puppy, the puppy is going to be stressed. It's going to be stressed because it's going to be away from its litter. And going into a new environment can cause many things. It can cause, like I said, stress, lack of appetite, and just other things. What I think is really important is that when you have a dog, a puppy especially, the smaller they are, the more attention you have to pay attention to them. And one of the main problems is hypoglycemia. Now, this is nothing a dog is born with or anything like that. This is basically, they can get this from lack of food. If they are resisting to eat because they're stressed or they're nervous or what have you, that can be a really tough, bad situation. They can go into a hypoglycemic seizure, which can lead to the worst, which would be death. So it's important that you get your dog to eat. If you need assistance getting your dog to eat, I have something in your puppy pack, which I always I always keep it with me in my house. And this is called a high-calorie Nutrigel. So it's all kinds of nutrients and everything in there. And what this typically does, it sparks their appetite really quick, and it will make them want to eat. Besides the fact it has all the nutrition and the vitamins and all that stuff that they're going to need. I also use it as a daily vitamin for my dogs, instead of buying vitamins or what have you. Now what you do is when you squeeze, it's like in a gel form. You squeeze it onto your finger, just round, little enough to just get in their mouth, and you put it in their mouth. They usually, because they love this stuff, will lick it right off. And you'll see their energy change, especially if they're lethargic or something like that because of the new environment or the stress or anxiety or anything like that. But I give one to every client so they don't have to look for one, the day or the next day, because that could be too late. So I include it in the puppy kit. Also, in the puppy kit, I have literature about different things with Boston Terriers. I have a pamphlet here that basically tells you about Boston Terriers and what to look for in a Boston Terrier. I'll tell you about their breed, the typical size, weight, all their features, and what a standard Boston Terrier should look like. Also the history of a Boston Terrier if you're interested. Then we can move on to how to care for your puppy. I kind of pretty much went over it with the food and the hypoglycemia and everything else. But it's also important to have a good living conditions for your puppy. And when I say living conditions, I mean for the puppy, not for the family. That's why I stress that everyone that gets a puppy from me buy a crate. And the kind of crate to buy is basically the metal crate where it's all around so the puppy can see, he's not obstructed, and you can keep an eye on him right through it, him or her. So that, and it's easy to keep clean. And that's what I do with my puppies. I will take them out directly from the crate to outside so they get used to using the bathroom outside. And that's the most time that they have to use the bathroom, as soon as they come out of the crate. As soon as they come out of the crate or after they eat. Usually probably a half an hour after they eat. Now, your puppy is gonna make mistakes. That's typical, we're all learning. So there will be accidents, and that's nothing to be upset about or worry about, because that's a typical normal thing. And they will learn. Boston Terriers are pretty smart dogs, so they'll learn pretty quickly. Also, make sure you have 2 bowls. I suggest ceramic bowls because plastic bowls will tend to gather bacteria, so they're harder to keep clean, and when they do get bacteria in them that you won't see, it will be on their mouths of the puppy, and you'll see breakouts or pimples or whatever, but it can be it's just not good for your puppy. So I suggest ceramic bowls. The steel bowls are also good too, the stainless steel bowls, but they're very lightweight, and the puppy, because it's a puppy, it's gonna flip the bowls over and dog food will go everywhere. So that's why I use the ceramic ones, because they're thick and they're heavy, so you don't have to worry about that. And I use it for both the water, 2 bowls, one for water, one for the dog food. So those are the living conditions, just to keep the crate clean. Keep either a mat or a dog bed inside them. I also feed them inside their crates as well while they're young, because dogs do not typically use the bathroom where they sleep and eat. So that's a heads up for anybody who's looking to train their dog a little bit faster. Some people don't like feeding their dogs in the crates, but I do, at the beginning anyways, until they learn. So that's basically how I care for my puppies when I first get them. I also have paper here on common health problems that Boston Terriers will get. Typically, because of their eyes, they kind of prominent, they have issues with cataracts. Not all, but that can be one of the top health issues with Boston Terriers. Now, all of my dogs are tested for juvenile cataracts, so they're all clear for that. That doesn't mean later in life that they might get them, you know, in old age, like any human would be. You can't guarantee anything like they will never get cataracts when they get older, but at least you know that they have been tested and cleared for juvenile cataracts. Other issues that they have are respiratory problems. That's a big thing with any kind of dog that has a flatter face. So it's more difficult for them to breathe. So when you have them outside and they're running around and they're hot and all that stuff, they're going to be breathing very heavy, and which is more than the normal dog. So I kind of limit time outside for play. Most of the time they play in my house in the air conditioner and there's no problem, but they shouldn't be out in the sun as long as most dogs can be. So there's some other things on here that they say are other problems, but those are the two big ones that I would worry about. And all of this stuff is in your puppy pack, so you can read it at your leisure, or you can read it while you're watching this video and go along with it. The next information that I have is your AKC registration. Now this registration looks a little difficult to fill out because it's like a bunch of questions, but you can do it online at akc.org. Instead of having to fill this all out and mail it in, it's so much easier just to go online and do it. Now, you do not have to register your dog. That's an option that you can take or not. If you do want to, it's like $35, and that's for the lifetime. You don't have to renew it or anything like that. And it's also good because you can get history from your dog if you want to know its background and who, if there was any championship or things like that in the line of the puppy that you purchased. You will find that the puppy that you are getting, all of my puppies, have a lineage of champions, some grand champions. So, it just kind of maybe makes you feel a little bit better that you're getting a good dog, not just any. Even though anybody can, AKC doesn't guarantee that the dog is like the best. With champion background, you're pretty much seeing it's good quality. But these are some things at your discretion. I'll have it signed and dated, and you can fill it in or do it online. That's up to you. Okay. Now with AKC, they recognize really black brindle, and seal colored puppies. Now, black and white is standard. A black and brindle and white is also recognized by AKC. Now, when I say recognized, I mean recognized for show. My dogs aren't show dogs. They're not. They're very good quality. They come from a good lineage and all of that kind of stuff, but they're basically companion puppies and companion dogs. But I also breed colors, different colors. I breed red and whites, I breed chocolate and whites, and I breed what's called reverse brindles, which means a brindle is like a black with like a color going through it, kind of like a tigerish kind of look. And a reverse brindle is basically a lighter color with black brindle lines through their coat. So that's the difference. But if you do want to, first, seal. Seal is a black puppy or a black Boston but when the sun hits it, it has a reddish tint to it. That's how they differentiate black from seal. And I don't have any seals, so I doubt you will either. But if you decide that you want to register their dog, your puppy, by its true color, like by chocolate and white, by red and white, or another color, blue and white, which blue means gray, or any other color, you can do that. Otherwise, you can just pick from the standards down below on the form. But you are able to actually register them by color. And you just have to provide AKC. You have to call them, provide them with photos of your pup, and so forth, and they will register them with the true color that they are. But if you're not going to show or anything like that, you can just choose the standard type of color. Okay, now the financial part of the dog is, what you will get is a copy, which you already probably have, or you signed and sent it back to me, is a copy of the purchase agreement. I'm not going to go over this because you all have to have gone over it by now, or if you haven't, you should have. But you can read in depth in it. It's just 2 pages of, guarantees, what things are not covered, if the puppy's sick or not, and what you're getting in a puppy, and all of that kind of information. And down here is where you've initialed, and the back page is where you've signed and I've signed and come to an agreement on the puppy. Okay. And then we have a receipt. Basically, this is your receipt. And your receipt will just show how much you paid, how you paid it, and if there's any balance. If you're coming to pick up your puppy, obviously it's paid in full, so it will be like this one, 0 balance. But again, it's for your records, so you know what you purchased and you have record of it. Now we can go over a little bit what's in the puppy pack. Besides the food and the Nutrigel, most everything else is toys and fun stuff. And sometimes it's not always the same. It depends on what I purchase at the time to put in the puppy pack. So it can be any types of sort of things. But I'll show you this one in particular. We'll start with blanket. I use a lot of blankets with my puppies. Because just like baby being swaddled, puppies like that too, and it calms them down and they enjoy it. And these are really nice, soft blankets. I also usually provide like a little cute t-shirt, so when you come and pick them up, they'll be dressed in a t-shirt or something like that. One thing I do have is that all dogs like treats. And the treats that I use are these. They're called Old Mother Hubbard. And they're really quality treats. So you're not, buying junk treats, because it's just dog food and treats and all that kind of stuff are just like human good food, junk food, same type of thing. But I buy these. You can get them anywhere. You can get them online at Amazon, or you can go to one of the big pet stores like Pet Supermarket or PetSmart or Petco, something like that. They usually have them. Again, you don't have to use these treats. You don't have to use treats at all, but it does help when training, making a fuss and giving them a treat when they do something right. Keeping them from jumping or whatever, just using these, and they're really small, is really helpful. Basically, the rest of the stuff, I'll just show you some of it because the toys that I've chosen, because I know my dogs like them. And right now, the puppies, they're teething. And they're gonna lose those baby teeth as well. So for a while they'll be teething. So whatever you can give them to chew on that's safe. I wouldn't give my dog any bones. Maybe a bone that's a beef bone or a ham bone or something like that, but never anything from poultry or fish or anything like that, because they splinter and they will puncture, could be your esophagus or what have you of the dog. It's just really dangerous, so I wouldn't do it. But I have like little toys. They're soft and, let me see if this one squeaks. Yeah, they squeak. They like that. You can hear my dogs barking as I did that. So just like a ball, and this is really good for the teething. They like these and they'll chew on them, and it just soothes the teeth and makes them feel better. Besides, even if they weren't teething, they'd want to chew on it. The rest of the stuff are basically just toys. Boston Terriers love stuffed toys. They love stuffed toys, and they love the ropes. The ropes are really good for them. My dogs love to do tug of war. So that's also a good toy for them to have. I just got more toys here, some squeaky balls and some other stuffed animals that they'll probably enjoy playing with. And then if you want to play frisbee with your dog, they're good at chasing. I don't know how good they are at bringing it back, because my dogs don't. But that is basically what's in your puppy kit and what you need to know about Boston Terriers and all of the other paperwork as far as the registration and the microchipping. And it's really important, I cannot stress enough, to register that microchip. Your dog already has it in him, so you don't need to get that done, because then that will have two different microchip numbers in him. But I would say about 80% of the puppies that I sell, people do not register the microchip. And that's a shame, because it doesn't cost anybody money. I do it as a courtesy, and because I don't want my puppies to be missing or get lost and be wandering around. It's just important to make sure that is registered, just for your own safety and so forth. I had a woman who I had my puppy. A year later, I hear from her, and she's like, my puppy's missing, my puppy's missing. It ran away, my son left the door open. And I said, well, okay, have you contacted your shelter, see if there's any information? Has it been found? And she said, I never completed the microchip information. Well, that's a big mistake, because now if the puppy's found, especially with Boston Terriers, they're like on the top 10 of the most wanted dogs. So if they're found, don't expect somebody to return it, because it's very slim chance that they will. So if you do happen to lose your dog, just pray, microchip it, make sure you have a collar with an ID tag too. Those are two important steps, because you can find people that might find your dog that are carrying people, and they'll return it to you if they have your information. So I really highly suggest that. Also, one other thing is, where I said make sure that they have a collar with an ID on it, it's also important to harness your dogs when you take them outside. If you have a fence, you don't need to put a harness on them, but if you want to walk your dog, or go to the dog park, make sure it's a harness. Don't drag your dog on a leash by their neck. That's just not comfortable. I know that's how they did it for years, and when we all were young and we had puppies, that's how we walked our dogs. But it's really not good to be yanking on their neck, especially if they have trachea issues and you're pulling on them, or it's one of those collars that tighten, chain collars that tighten up, choke collars. No, you don't need a choke collar for a Boston Terrier. So use a harness. There's different harnesses that you can buy. There's just the regular harness. There's harnesses that they make that will correct their walking, because some dogs at the beginning, they want to veer off in all different directions and not walk straight. So they make collars that give the dog a straight walking path. It just teaches them to do it, and they're really good, especially at the beginning when you're purchase your dog. Obviously, they'll grow out of the harness and they'll grow out of the collar, and you're going to have to change them and get bigger ones over time. But they are good investments, so make sure you get a fairly decent harness. But try to use harness, not the collar. So that's pretty much all I have to say in this tutorial. So I'll just wrap it up and just let you know that you have my information. I'm always here by email, by phone, by text message. Any way you need to get in touch with me, I am here, and I'm more than happy to answer any of your questions, help you with anything, and that means forever, for as long as you need me, because my dogs and my puppies are really important to me, and I want to be part of that additional help if you need it, and support. So even after this is all done and you buy your puppy and you're out the door and whatever, if things come up, if things you don't understand, or something that the puppy does behaviorally that you don't get it, and if it's normal or not, I'm here for that. And believe me, I have no problem helping anyone. So I'm always here for you guys. So that's about it. If you have any questions while you're reviewing this, just let me know, and call me or what have you, and I'll be happy to go over it again for you if you need to. But I thought it would be easier to do a video tutorial, just because sometimes it's easier to watch somebody speak about it and go through everything one at a time, and it keeps it fresh in your memory, and you can always rewind it. So anyways, I wish you well with your puppy. You're gonna have a heck of a lifetime with it, and enjoy it. They're the best dogs I've ever had, and I've had a lot, but this breed is just different, and it's just wonderful. So enjoy your puppy, and I will talk to you soon. Any questions, give me a call. Thanks. This is Kevin with Normandy Boston Terriers.